Hi everyone, this is Lisa Espinosa, and I'm the author of the new book, Answering Your Inner Calling. And this week, my new 10-week program is starting. So if you've been watching these videos, you know that I've been sharing just kind of little sneak peeks on what is going to be included in this 10-week program. And I took a little break last week because I had spring break. But the last video was about the second practice in my book, which was naming and embracing your fears. The third practice, which is what this video is about, is learning the language of your soul. So what that means is, well, let's say you are committed to following your soul's guidance, right? You're committed, you're working on healing those fears, transforming those fears, and now you're just trying to understand, well, what are the messages of your soul? And in my book, a couple of things that I mention first is for you to remember that you being able to understand your soul's guidance is the most natural thing. That is how, God's Spirit, our Creator, made us in that way so that we'd be able to listen and hear and understand our soul's guidance. However, because of life, because of burdens, because of the way our society is, we've forgotten that language. So it's actually more accurate to think of it as you're relearning the language of your soul. You already know it. And the other thing is that your soul wants to talk to you. It is eager to talk to you. It is, in fact, always communicating with you. It's communicating with you right now. So there isn't anything really hard you need to do. There isn't some sort of like you need to beg your soul to hear you. It's not like that at all. So in my book, I divide the three ways, I divide it into three categories how your soul communicates with you. The first is what I call direct guidance. And direct guidance is when you hear your soul, when you receive the message directly, whether it's through a vision, through hearing a message, through a feeling, through touch, a sensation, through thoughts. There's, what people call the 5 clairs, or some people divide it into the 6 clairs of clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance. You can find lots of books on this. You can search on the internet about it. In my book, I talk a little bit about it too. Basically, direct guidance is your intuition, right? Is hearing your soul directly through your intuition. We all have that capacity. I often have clients who will tell me, well, I don't have an intuition, or I can't tell the difference between my intuition or just my ego. And, I talk a lot about that more in my book, and we'll be discussing that in the 10-week program. But because of that, because it's so hard for us to trust our intuition, we also have a second way that our soul communicates with you, which I call indirect guidance. And indirect guidance is what it sounds like, is your soul sends you messages through indirect means, whether it be other people, books, synchronicity, dreams, oracle cards, pendulums. There's all sorts of indirect ways, signs in nature. So your soul knows that because of your parts, because of your fears, it is so easy to dismiss the messages you're receiving. So it will send you other indirect ways to validate those messages. So it's really important, 90% of the time when I meet with clients or students, they know what their soul has been telling them. They have a feeling, they have a sense, but they're doubting it. They question it, sometimes for years. So when you start to realize, well, my soul's going to send me these indirect ways also to validate the direct guidance I'm getting, then it becomes a little easier. And then you can also be honest with yourself when perhaps your soul is guiding you in a certain direction and you're telling yourself that you don't know what your soul is guiding you towards. But in reality, you do know, you're just scared. And that's, there's nothing to be ashamed of. We all have fears about following our soul's guidance. But it's a lot more empowering to admit it, to say, you know what, my soul is guiding me to change jobs, or my soul is guiding me to look at my relationship with my husband, more deeply, or my soul is guiding me to go to a yoga class, it's something simple like that. But I'm scared. I have parts that are nervous, anxious. So that's okay. But the first step is just recognizing it. And the third way, so we have direct guidance, indirect guidance. The third way is actually also a form of indirect guidance, but I categorize it separately because it felt right to do so, is through spirit guides. So what I mean is those unconditionally loving guides that we all have, guardian angels, saints, ascended masters like Jesus or Mother Mary or Kuan Yin or Buddha, whoever you connect with. But these are beings of unconditional love and we don't worship them. But these are beings that their purpose is to help us fulfill our purpose. So, I always tell my students and clients when they're interested in connecting with guides that the only thing that's important to do is always ask for guides that love you unconditionally. And that'll just ensure that you are requesting the help from just master level guides who all they care about is for you to fulfill your life's purpose in a way that is fulfilling and joyful and is going to bring blessings to so many people. So I'm so excited. That's just like a little snapshot of this third practice. And, this week, the 10-week program is starting. In fact, today, the private Facebook page opened. And so far, there are 6 wonderful, amazing women signed up. They're all strong, sensitive, have scared parts too, like we all do, but they are committed to following their soul's guidance to the next evolution of their life's work. We still have a few spaces left. This Thursday, enrollment will close. But if you are interested, please email me directly, and I'd be happy to set up a chat on the phone, a few minutes to answer any of your questions. And because this video today is about learning the language of your soul, and I know one of the ways that I said was indirect guidance, right? And it's one of my favorite ways to do that is through oracle cards. And if you've ever been to my house or any workshop or meditation class I teach, you're familiar with them because I always bring them. And I want to be clear, oracle cards they don't predict your future.